What? Me and you?
No,
what?
no. I said the song was about he got caught cheating. It was about you.
Wasn't
me.
That song was before me. That
okay.
song was before me. You stupid.
What happened to R&B singer Olivia? Olivia Longott's career is a perfect story of how management can make or break a singer's career. She was one of the best R&B singers of her generation and still failed to become a big name because her management didn't have what it takes to rightly promote her talent. Hello everyone and welcome to our YouTube channel. Are you also wondering why Olivia Longott's career couldn't take off? Then fret not today, we'll discuss what went on between Olivia and her many management companies. Before we get started, don't forget to like, comment and share. Also, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss any updates. J Records Incompetency. Olivia was born in Brooklyn on 15 February 1980. She's of Indian, Cuban and Jamaican descent. She studied music at Bayside High School in Queens and at Five Towns College in Dix Hills. She began her performing career in her teenage years. Olivia was the first artist signed by J Records. She bagged her deal by auditioning for the producer Clive Davis, who was then impressed by her vocal abilities. She was a powerhouse R&B singer and the management wanted her to become his bad gal who sings about the R-rated stuff. Although Olivia didn't love the idea as she wanted to be taken seriously by singing R&B ballads, but then she was new and a record deal is hard to get, so she went along with the plan. In 2001, she released her first single, Bazounce, which peaked at number 15 on Billboard chart. The song was full of cuss words and no other female singer was singing like Olivia was at the time. Many of her contemporaries were going for the girl next door image, which is why her bad gal image was instantly praised by the fans. Soon she released her self-titled debut album and it shot up to number 55 on the Billboard 200. She had everything going. She had the looks, the stage presence, outstanding vocals, but she still felt her management was not pushing her enough. She soon realized something shady was going on behind her back and decided to quit the J Records. Game Rumors. After leaving J Records, Olivia was presented with an opportunity to be the only female lead of GUnit, a record created by 50 Cent. Earlier she was hesitant because they were all rappers and hip-hoppers, but then she didn't want to waste such a good opportunity and decided to join the crew. Soon after her joining, they released the song Candy Shop together, which became a smashing hit. Olivia's debut with 50 Cent was receiving many compliments, but she was then about to realize the downside of joining a rap group. Rivalries and disses are common among rap groups. Their feuds are what generate interest in their songs. Olivia learned that the hard way. By joining a rap crew, she was also now going to be dissed because of her company. Game was a rapper who left GUnit and released a diss track in which he called Olivia a man. On his track 300 Bars and Runnin', he said, "And Olivia, I mean for a man, she hot." This wasn't a huge blow to Olivia's career, but it definitely was a low blow and extremely unnecessary too. She didn't release any statement at the time or sing anything about him because she thought what he did was immature. Years later in an interview, she talked about the whole situation and why that didn't affect her. "I've never responded to immature people. It's not my fault that you have beef with a man that you want to take it out on the only girl in the group just because we don't rock with you. But it is what it is. I always laughed at it. I thought it was hilarious. If that's the best you can come up with, it works for me." Fallout with GUnit. Initially, everything was going great for Olivia, but then she realized her individual identity was being lost in the band. She realized, just like her previous management, GUnit was also not capable of promoting an R&B artist, which needs a certain kind of videos and promotions. All they were promoting was her being the only girl in a rap group. 50 Cent also said in an interview he had invested $2 million on her, but hasn't recovered the amount yet. This comment of his didn't sit well with Olivia and she voiced her opinion by saying this was disrespectful to her talent. She thought even investing $4 million would have been less as her genre demands that kind of setup. Soon after this, she left the GUnit and many people speculated it was because she was romantically involved with 50 Cent and that their relationship ended on bad terms. She recently released her book Release Me, in which she clarified this rumor. 50 Cent himself told him that them getting involved isn't a great idea and they had to keep their relationship strictly platonic. She recalled the whole incident where 50 Cent said, "We can never cross that line because I think it will ruin everything. There is far too much money to be made and besides I know you ain't that type of chick. I have a lot of respect for you so I wouldn't even do you like that. If you and I started messing around, would never be able to convince the rest of the world that we're not." Missy Elliott Rumors. When Olivia left the GUnit, she thought she ended it on good terms, but clearly 50 Cent didn't take it very well. In her last days with the label, she was also working a lot with Missy Elliott. She felt very comfortable with her as she was working on the kind of music that Olivia liked. At one point, she was not giving her label much time and spending all the time with Missy. Missy. That made 50 Cent very upset, and after she was dropped by the label, he spread the rumor of her hooking up with Missy. His statement made Missy furious, and she then asked Olivia about it. Even after ending things with GUnit, Longott thought 50 Cent would always be her big brother, which is why she was really hurt by his comment. In an interview, she talked about why 50 Cent said what he said. He was mad because at one point we were doing so much music together. He was getting upset because I wasn't really at the crib doing a whole bunch of music with the unit, but he heard all the records I did with Missy, so he felt some type of way. Absolutely not. That's the homie. Leaked song with Drake. After becoming an independent artist, Olivia was presented with an opportunity to do a collab with then rising talent Drake, whose debut mixtape had become a smashing hit. This collaboration could have revived her career, but when the song leaked, Drake showed his bitterness with the way the song was produced. He told he was never in favor of making Control a duet. He felt the song didn't require it and wouldn't have been leaked if he was the only one working on the song. He posted an apology note for his fans. I support artist collaborations and sampling music that inspires you, but I don't support taking unauthorized recordings and marking them as features. I've never worked with Olivia, and I apologize to any fan who was duped into thinking that Control was a collaboration of mine. Of course, his statement shocked Olivia, who thought everything was well sorted from his end. She couldn't realize what went wrong and thought she was only doing her job. In the end, she said whatever he's saying is only giving her more publicity and attention, so she doesn't mind it. Love and Hip Hop, New York. In 2011, she made her reality TV debut in Love and Hip Hop, New York. The show aired on the VH1 channel. She liked the concept of the show as it was pitched to her as Black Sex and the City. She found it very interesting, and it also gave her career a new direction. She was in the main lead and was gaining recognition as a solo artist for the first time. She did 2 seasons of the show and left it to pursue a more serious career in acting, viewed with Rich Dollars. After leaving GUnit, she hired Rich Dollars as her manager. He was working with her when she got the show Love and Hip Hop. Later, she released 2 successful singles, December and Walk Away, which helped her appear on the charts again. For a minute there, everything looked alright for Olivia, but even after delivering such hits, nothing else was happening in her career. She wasn't tasting the breakout success like many girls like Rihanna and Carrie were. She thought she was the one with the problem as people were not connecting to her music, but later she found out some bitter truth, that her manager had badmouthed her everywhere, and he was also actively turning down many opportunities which could have been huge for her career. The biggest blow Olivia got was that Rich was stealing from her. Her singles had made money which she never saw, even though she was the one who wrote them. She even confronted him on camera and said, "You and I took hits together, Rich. That's what we always did. So when I found out from the lawyers what was going on, that really hurt me to my core, because you were really my brother. I'm trying to understand, how do you think that you get all of the money? That makes absolutely no sense." Although Rich denied all the allegations and told her there was no extra money and whatever he took was spent on her expenses, the explanation was flawed. He was later fired by her, and since then Olivia has been trying to expand her horizon by becoming an author and frequently acting in movies. She always blamed wrong management for wasting her prime years, and now after spending 2 decades in the industry, she's taking the reins in her own hands. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell button to get the notifications. Also, don't forget to watch other videos on this channel that explores more topics like this.